morning and welcome to the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. It is a good morning, a beautiful day. I'm so delighted and I want to thank God for life, and I want to also thank Him for the gift of my voice. This morning is going to be hot. We have a guest in the studio this morning, but I'm not going to bring him on yet. But just to let you know that, so much happened yesterday. I'm sure you already know. So we're going to be talking politics, a lot of politics today. All right, just to also inform you that Okwe is here. And I realized that yesterday we both were wearing the blue thing, and today it's like kind of the gray, black thing. I don't know what's going on. Is it telepathy or what? Okwe, good morning. It's good to see you this morning.
Well, I mean, we've been together on this table now for about a month. So maybe we just find a way to transfer all the conversation. We'll be like, oh, today I could be wearing a touch of this and touch of that. But it's an amazing time to be on TV again. And just like you said, a lot happened yesterday, and that they will always say 24 hours in politics is a long, long time. We'll have huge conversation today. You're welcome.
All right, we'll take our usual break, and when we return, there'll be so much more for you. Please stay tuned. Don't touch that dial and don't go away. We'll be right here.
No limits.
Welcome to the Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Award.
This isn't a reset.
It's an evolution.
Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table.
We're going to build our paradise here on earth.
Locks up and he makes contact with his old rival.
Moments turn into memories. History into legacy.
Anything can happen.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Express. It's time for me to introduce our guest this morning, and it is a great, great pleasure. I'm actually humbled, to introduce a barrister at law, and he is Okwe Nnebedu. Did I get it? Now, if I didn't get it, you need to tell me exactly how to pronounce it. I will pronounce it again before you say you exchange your pleasantries.
You got it.
I got it. 100% for me. All right, it's such a delight to have you on the breakfast table this morning.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, viewers at home and everywhere in the world.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Okwe, you will shoot first.
Okay. Yesterday was supposed to be a big day for the AADC, Nigeria's biggest coalition for now. If you look at, my friend said they are roll call yesterday. They had about 4 appearances in court yesterday, and after threats of postponement, change of venue, a question around the legitimacy of the convention, it was eventually held yesterday in Abuja. And then we saw the leaders of the coalition take their turn to, illustrate the challenges that we have as a nation and what they would do, to bring things differently. We saw the likes of the former president of the Senate, as of today, the suspended national chairman of the party, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio. We saw the former governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aminu Tambuwal. We saw the former governor of Rivers State and Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi. We saw, a lot of them yesterday. But it looks like the build-up to the 2027 election is growing some, doubts, especially the preparedness of the coalition. As of today, it looks like the major problem that the ruling All Progressive Congress could face in the 2027 election is the coalition, which is the ADC. the last few months, how would you rate the preparation of the coalition going into an election that could be so vital in how to sustain this democracy, Barrister?
Oh, thank you very much. Your question is a very large one. I don't know where to begin. Let me make a trial. Preparedness of political parties for an election like this, a very decisive one for that matter, would reflect our journey with democracy starting from 1999. And I would expect that Nigeria is not a baby anymore, having traveled this distance with civilian rule since 1999. Very many of them who are in the coalition today and those who are also in power today, like the president, they are products of 1999. So that at that point he was the governor of Lagos State. So they have garnered quite some experiences, coming from 1999 through the first set of elections, and they've had various electoral body chairs up until the time the leadership mantle has fallen on Professor Amupitan Esen. Right now, I would think, and I will approach it like a footballer who would want to concentrate on what exactly is my preparation for a particular tournament. Not underrating what my opponents are doing. But here in Nigeria, what seems to have been playing out in the very recent time is that the APC doesn't seem to be comfortable enough after having about 32 governors on their stable. And they are still somehow, according to allegations, allegedly, like Nigerian people, allegedly, that they are planting discord, seed of discord within some of these parties. And concerning a particular presidential candidate of a former political of a political party, tracing his footsteps from one point to another, from the Labour Party and the rest of them. But APC has come up to deny those allegations. But it doesn't seem though as, because the culture in Nigeria is that when establishments make denials, it makes those facts that are alleged more obvious in the long run. So I rather would want to see their concentration in their preparations, because their contest is not against themselves. They are contesting for the votes of Nigerians. So it is whoever wins the heart of Nigerians. For example, the government has been in power for 4 years. I would rather have APC showcase what we've done for Nigerians within the last 4 years.
As a basis for re-election.
Yes, as your basis for re-election. And not trying to kill opposition. And opposition, concentrate, do whatever you have best, or you know best to do, according to the laws of the land. There are a ton of decided cases on the internal political leadership of a party, and the Supreme Court is not bereft of ideas as to, because that court is a court of policy. It's not a court to visit every now and then. But it does seem that in Nigeria today, as a lawyer I will tell you, that most of the cases that, receive expedited hearings are political cases, rather than cases that deal with our economy. And nobody comes to invest in your country when the statistics show that the activities in the court and judiciary
It's political.
It's political. So these are some of the byproducts of the fact that we don't know the essence or the extent of the consequences of what we are doing when we are politicizing more than doing governance.
So I'm going to run away quickly from, what we're talking about generally. I'm going to go to INEC right now. What is your opinion? Do you think the INEC chairman should be resigning as we speak? Or do you think that he should still maintain his position? What do you think that the INEC chairman should do right now, especially
As a citizen,
yes,
the
as a
INEC chairman is entitled to hold an opinion. If you go to the fundamental human rights as contained in our constitution, freedom of thought, freedom of association. He is entitled to belong to any association of his choice.
As an individual.
As an individual.
Okay.
But in the build up to getting someone nominated to chair an electoral umpire, the law requires neutrality. And it does seem that the Senate didn't do
That
their
due
due
diligence.
Diligence, yeah.
at a point, because what has been playing out in recent times is a tweet and an X account. These days, we are not in 1970s, we are not in 1920s. Within a short time, before the DSS could do any checks, you know, the results are, like, even in my phone, you know, there are footprints as long as anything internet is concerned. Whether it's in Facebook, social media, there are footprints. And you can always get those footprints when you request for them. So there's no denying the fact that a particular phone number belongs to him, a particular email address belongs to him, and an S account belongs to him. On those bases are the allegations that are gaining
popularity.
Gaining popularity that he should resign his position. I am not against his resignation, but I would rather say that the history of our country has been replete with opportunities where civil servants or public officers hardly resign to maintain their integrity. Except for at the point when a particular minister for power, a professor too, a Professor Batnaji, he resigned when allegations, before he could say Jack.
He tendered his resignation letter.
So I would have expected that. Now, look at the personality of the INEC chairman. He's a professor of law, which means he's a general, as a scholar. Number two, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria.
The highest.
So I think, I don't know what more integrity you have to protect.
To protect, that's the point.
Staying put than
Resigning.
Resigning.
Leaving when the ovation
when the
is
pressure
loudest.
so that you can have your integrity intact.
So,
A professor of law,
a
and
senior
Senior advocate
advocate
of Nigeria.
So on the issue of INEC chairman, is it time for a lot of people that have constantly questioned why the president should choose who becomes the chairman of INEC? And let me go back to the template you use. It's just like when you want to play a football match and then you are hosting the game on your home turf and then you are choosing the referee, the linesman, the VAR, you are choosing the entire officials. Is it time we go back to that constitutional provisions that allows the president to choose who becomes the chairman of INEC of an election he is going to be a part of? Because if you say, okay, the chairman of INEC should resign because you feel or the allegations that maybe is aligned to a political party, the president still reserves the right to choose another person. What if the other person comes in and they will go on to question the character of the person? Will it take us through that process of demanding resignation over and over again? As a lawyer, is it time we go back to that provision of constitutions that allows the president to single-handedly pick the chairman of INEC? And if that power should be taken to the president, away from the president, where should it go to? The body of benchers, what do you think in all of this?
What is your suggestion?
They must not be lawyers. Let me start from mentioning body of benchers. They must not be lawyers, except the fact that in our political history, most of the chairmen has always been lawyers or retired justices like Justice from Apata, from Edo State at the point. Professor Wosu is a political scientist, and Professor Iwu is a scientist.
Yes.
A chemist. So it does not really say that it's only lawyers that can do the best of the job. But it goes back to the constitution you mentioned. Nigerian president is the most powerful president over the world,
Sure.
according to our constitution. Do you know, are you aware, that the president has authority and constitutional duty to appoint boards, not just board chairmen, but constitution of some parastatals that are mentioned in the constitution. If you go to the 5th schedule, you see plenty of the commissions, and ministries, departments, and agencies.
The president reserves the power.
Reserves the power to make the appointment. But I want to also mention the fact that the power to make such appointment is not unlimited without confirmation from an independent arm of government called the legislature. But the legislature we have presently in Nigeria today, as presently constituted and as presently headed by a comedian, you would say that they are standing on the mandate and they are putting on an insignia, a capital insignia that does not have the coat of arms of the Federal Republic. If you were to be in the US, all of them were supposed to have resigned. Because there are certain things that are our symbols, our
Yes.
national anthem. You can't sing another anthem except our anthem as a country. The moment you start to say that I stand on a mandate, you are no longer doing Arise, O Compatriots, or you are singing O God of Creation. So that is just a very bad situation we find ourselves. Ordinarily, what the Nigerian public are investigating today ought to have come from the Senate themselves. Because their duty is not just to make laws, but to conduct checks and balances, such that when the government makes an appointment, it is not a fake apply. No. It is subject to that country. See, there was a time in this country when, I don't know whether to call names, but when Bukola Saraki was the president of the Senate, you saw the beauty of a legislature. And they put the president there, the president between 2015 and 2019, they put him on check. And everything was working perfectly for the Nigerian people, as the way we read it in the books. But what we usually would, what politicians would rather have is to pocket every other institution by way of, taking advantage of appointment. Once you are appointed, you don't have a mind of your own. You are not loyal
To the people,
Constitution,
but
to
the
the
person
people
that
of Nigeria,
appointed you.
But you are loyal to a person. It's an anomaly.
I wanted to ask you a question, but there's something you said, looking at the caps and the symbol of the caps. Sometimes that actually depresses me, because I'm saying to myself that some of these people don't really want to wear this thing, but it is like they are compelled to show their solidarity.
You said it that if you're a commissioner, you don't wear, you won't come for the meet, you won't come for the state executive council meeting.
So if we go to court tomorrow and seek to validate the provision of the Constitution regarding our anthems and regarding our coat of arms, they will say lawyers are becoming meddlesome. But it is the height of constitutional violation to wear a certain type of cap and to even put insignias on a bag of rice and be spreading. When you have an election coming up in less than 11 months.
And not even that. I mean, what do you think about, their publicity right now, the campaigns that are going on? If memory serves me right, I remember that there's a set time for this.
Yes.
And you see, I don't think that leadership should just be, be done anyhow. You should set the standards and set the examples, because you know that there's a set time. I think you should wait for that set time to break your campaigns.
Exactly.
But we have seen this campaign since last year, or even the year. In fact, as soon as they got in, they started to promote 2027.
Broken the rules. That is why it is very necessary that we rather want to encourage people to vote out APC to restore sanity in our democracy. It is an existential threat to democracy in this country.
Let's quickly look at APC's stand, and allegations of interference, and trying to oppress the opposition parties. These are allegations, but would like to hear from you. You're a professional. Let's hear from you. There have been allegations that Wike refused to provide a venue for them to do stuff, have their convention, and so on and so forth, and the president, has used his veto power to ensure that INEC, frustrates, the ADC, and so on and so forth. For you, how does this sound and how does it seem? In your opinion, what do you think is the right thing?
The right thing should be, or should have been, that INEC shouldn't have made unilateral interpretation of the ruling of the Court of Appeal. Yes.
That ruling, can you please tell? There's a do you call it legalese?
Those legalists,
what was it?
always captioned in
Yes.
Latin maxims.
Yes.
Let's
What
go
does
back
that
to
word mean?
Status quo ante bellum. See, what it means is go back to the time or what the situation was before the
They
crisis.
came to come to court.
Before they came to court.
So which
As simple
means-
as it is. Our NBA president, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Afam Osigwe, was on TV a few days ago, and he's gaining ground also from lawyers that let us rather jettison all these colonial mentalities. We are still quoting Latin maxims in the 21st century.
But even though it
Causing
is
trouble.
Latin, there are certain things
But there's no
that we can
ambiguity.
understand
Yeah,
now.
yes, now layman can
Status
understand.
quo. What is status
Go
quo?
back to status quo. What is the status quo? Status quo one could mean go back to the time there was no crisis at the emergence of Senate President
David Mark.
David Mark. Because at that point, the man who they are using to cause ripples there was a deputy
National chairman.
In the hierarchy of parties, let me dovetail directly to ADC. In the hierarchy of their leadership, there is a chairman, there is a vice chairman, then there is a deputy national chairman. There are six of them.
Across the geopolitical zones.
There are six of them. So if leadership would, inure in your favor, it should first of all fall for the
Vice chairman.
vice chairman, and then in hierarchy also the secretary
To the
of
party.
the party. Then before any of
The zones.
any of the chairman. So I don't know where Anec got
Balago.
their idea that you can. I don't even know why a judge would want to consider somebody who is not. But in this country, Supreme Court gave governorship ticket or governorship mandate to someone
Who came fourth.
It was in this country. And of blessed memory, Justice Wednesday, 16 Wednesday, gave a prophecy that judgment will continue to haunt Nigeria, and it is haunting us till today.
Okay, Barrister, okay, let's look at going forward. I mean, we can sit here and look at some of the problems that we have, the opposition and all of that. In your own interpretation of all of the issues that are happening right now, you briefly made mention of the fact that the APC has got about 31 governors, an absolute control of the National Assembly, both the red and the green chambers. If you look at that balance, it looks like the tilt of balance moves in their favor ahead of the election. But everyone in this country would know, not mincing words, not sugarcoating anything, that this 2027 election is so important to the sustenance of our democracy. How would you rate the preparation of the opposition? And this is not just the ADC. You look at the Labour Party, their leadership cracks. You look at the PDP, a carcass of its old self. You look at the SDP. So everybody seems to be looking for a way out. How would you rate the preparedness of the opposition together ahead of the 2027 election?
The preparedness, the way we are reading on the papers today, and the factual realities before us, is that for the benefit of Nigerians, for the benefit of those who love democracy, for the benefit of the remnants in this country who trust that Nigeria should work for us, the hand of destiny has put under one umbrella some people who ordinarily the ruling party wouldn't have loved to have under that umbrella. In that party called ADC, the person who came second in the last election is in that party. He won, was it?
About 6.9 million votes.
The person who they
Third
said
and fourth.
came,
Who they said, I won't
yes,
skip that.
Yes, so we'll come to that later. He's in that party.
With
The
6.1 million votes.
Yes, the person who came second in the ruling party's primaries, that is Amechi, he's in that party. And several other heavyweights.
The person who came fourth in the last
Came
election,
fourth in the
Rabi
election.
Musa
Rabi
Kwankwaso.
Musa Kwankwaso. He's also in that party.
Yeah.
So ordinarily, Nigerians wouldn't have prayed more better than the fact that circumstances are working.
And giving us the proper coalition.
The coalition is good as it has been formed. Are there saints? I cannot answer that. There are no saints living on planet Earth. But are they the people that God will use? God uses anything. God uses anything, anybody. And by the time that Asiwaju came on board, are there good things about him? Definitely yes. He has been a proponent. In fact, most of the things that are playing out today, some people are surprised that this is a pro-democracy chieftain that wants to snuff out opposition, while this one stood far away in Ojota at a point, holding microphone. I was against the increase
subsidy
of
removal. That was in 2012.
So, is it too far from us? We are not kids anymore. We some of us have left university way back, more than 10 years before those times, and we can remember vividly what some people stood for when they were in opposition. And now the opposition is in government for 4 years, or let me say for 8 years of President Buhari, because it is the same party. Because
So 12 years.
12 years. Now, right now, it does seem to me that destiny is playing its, divinity is playing out somehow to benefit Nigerians, that those people who can wrestle power from the APC are converged in one party, and APC is losing sleep. You see it in everything they do. You mentioned Labour Party. There was a time when Peter Obi was there and had judgment, which lasted from April till December 2025, when on the 31st of that December, Mr. Peter Obi declared for ADC. Only less than few hours after,
Everything.
they recognized the leadership they never recognized before. So you see, they started with Apapa to attack, and so now those people who are on their payroll, their job is done. The next person is Mr. Gombe. So you see it happening everywhere, that I continue to say less of politics, do governance. But if you don't want to do it, I want to also put Nigeria into existential threat for a democracy we have enjoyed since 1999, Nigerians will vote APC out. I don't belong to any party. Don't think I'm advocating for. I advocate for Nigerians, and I advocate as a lawyer for respect for our constitution, which does not in any way envisage a one-party state. Not at all.
All right, let me just hold your thought there. We should do less of politics and more of governance. We will come back and take that up. But right now, we'll take a break, and when we return, there is more. Please stay tuned.
Well, I have a feeling things are about to change.
The new season of the hit series Wura is coming to Africa Magic.
You don't say.
Here's everything you need to know about the woman behind the name to get ready.
This is well.
Wura is the ruthless CEO of Frontline Gold Mine.
I'm going to build our paradise here on earth.
She'll do anything to maintain her power and perfect image. Lies, fraud, and of course, murder.
Let the dead state hit her.
Many try to take her down, but she always claws her way back to the top.
I have a plan.
That is, until she discovers that the last person she murdered is her own abandoned daughter. The once unbreakable Wura begins to fall apart, and her empire of gold crumbles around her. But she would rather die than have the world discover who she truly is. Catch Wura Season 4 on Africa Magic Showcase, and available to all on Africa Magic Family.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Express show. You know, Okpa, you heard what Barrister said. He said, you know, the government should do more of
governance
than politics, politicking, whatever it is. You know, in your opinion, what should the government be doing more of?
No, it's very simple because the circle of a typical Nigerian politician is very short. The moment you win an election, a lot of them are already thinking of their second term. So a lot of things that happen in between the schedule of projects, appointment into committees, it is set to favor, you know, zones that will put up the numbers when election comes. So an average Nigerian politician does not exactly do governance. They're just there thinking, okay, in 18 months' time, another campaign cycle will start. Am I picking a successor? Am I going for a second term? Am I leaving from governor to go to retirement home in the Senate, which is what a lot of them are doing at the Senate at the moment. So I think, you know, Barrister OK is absolutely right on that. But there's something a lot of people are concerned about. The war going on in the Middle East is giving Nigeria some massive windfall. As at the last I checked, the dollar to a barrel is about $103. And from our 2016 budget estimation, our benchmark was about 65 to 67 right? A dollar rather. So we're getting a minimum of about $30 on this windfall consistently. Barrister, in 2026 April, we've borrowed over 8.1 trillion naira already. Should we still be borrowing? Should we still be this level of debt with the huge windfall we're getting from the crisis going on in the Middle East? Let's try to wrap up from there.
You've not completed it because there is a proposal
to borrow
again.
Let me start from borrowing. There's nothing wrong with borrowing
sure.
As a businessman. You know I'm an evil person. Sometimes we also borrow. In business, we tend to say that God has blessed us with some of the things we do as traders. We borrow. You leverage on funds from other sources at the long run, provided you borrow to invest.
Exactly.
You don't borrow
to loot.
To loot. You don't borrow to marry more wives. You don't borrow to
buy SUVs.
You don't borrow to
yachts and
to buy yachts. You don't borrow to fund campaigns that look like what happened, the embarrassment in Owerri, where the city boys went to teach Igbo people who they should vote for and all that.
And at the end of the day,
so some of those stuffs you don't borrow to swallow, to consume. You borrow to invest and invest in tomorrow. The United Nations UNDP says that Africa, particularly Nigeria, my country, will have a youthful age. Our country has a very youthful age, which is an advantage. Today, there's a mobility of labor that people who do tech can sit at the comfort of their rooms in this country, and service industries, particularly when it comes to hacking or ethical hacking or some of those
back-end data protection
and all those. So what are we investing in education? What are we investing in backbone technology to make data very affordable?
Security.
You know, and all those. And I was going to answer your question regarding the fact that the current administration, with what has happened so far in the way and manner they are borrowing, one would want to ask, what are the templates for previously borrowed funds? What were they used for? And these are where some of us would look into the House of Reps, who have launched some investigations into, as for example, the power sector and several inquiries. And you and I watch television every day. You see the stuff that comes out from those kind of investigations, and the way funds are allocated and the way budgetary allocations are not obeyed. Of course, you know that budgets are laws. That's why they are called appropriation acts. It is an act. So I want to believe that Nigeria should not discourage government from borrowing for consumption, but to borrow for investment, to build infrastructure, and to invest in the future of Nigeria, which are the youths.
All right. Okay, I think that's the much we can take on this segment, but we'd like to thank you so much, Barrister, for taking your time out, joining us on the program, and being part of the fun this morning. Thank you so much, Barrister. What you want to appreciate him?
Yes, we couldn't take him yesterday, so we had to find a way to drag him to the studio today. But I'm sure that I would have more time, to open up this conversation, especially as we build up to the 2027 election. The ADC was, had court judgments yesterday, upholding, like you said, the status quo. But maybe the next couple of days would find out more.
The case was adjourned to
22nd, yes.
So the parties would, recognize their positions
And harmonize.
On their paper before the court. And before that time, I take pleasure in being with you. If there's another time you need my presence.
Oh, you just took the words out of my mouth. I wanted to be an Oliver Twist to say we're going to come back for more, if you don't mind.
It's a duty we do.
All right. We'll take this very needed break, and when we return, there'll be more from where this has come. Please stay tuned.
Thank you.
No limits.
Welcome to the Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Award.
This isn't a reset.
It's an evolution.
Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table.
We're going to build our paradise here on earth.
Looks up and he makes contact with his old rival.
Moments turn into memories. History into legacy.
Anything can happen.
So
Welcome back to the Breakfast Express show. We had to take Barrister because he needed to leave. All right, so we're going to be looking at the newspapers right now, and we're just going to take two newspapers. I will start with the Nation newspaper, and of course, the above the nameplate 2027, ACO LGA stakeholders back Yamal 2. Deba constituents endorsed Tinubu's second term, Goje continuity in Senate. IMF, recapitalization of banks buffer against global shocks. And the writer for that story is G24 Chair Edun to Central Bank, steer economies out of energy crisis. Well, I think the central bank governor has really been doing a lot, and I think that's his focus. I think that's his aim, to actually steer us out of all this crisis. But again, you see, I think it takes the two hands to wash each other for them to be clean. You can't do one hand. If you wash one hand, it's not going to be as clean as if you use the other hand to wash it. And so it's not just the central bank governor or the central bank that should be saddled with this responsibility. As much as they try, we also have the governments, they also need to be able to help us, because otherwise I think it's going to be an effort in futility.
Yeah, what do you think? I think the CBN governor, for me, is probably one of the best decisions of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Mr. Yemi Cardoso. They
Oh,
call them.
by the way, he's an alumnus of Corona School.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, they call them the governors without tenure because they're a governor and they are not voted into office. But and it's very important for us to raise the sanctity and the respect of the CBN. Is a policy and is the apex policy making body, involves banking. And if you look at the entire process of the growth, the recapitalization within the banking sector, the Zenith Bank just declared, over 1 trillion of, I think, some huge amount of, profit before tax. And in fact, they were even, ready to pay their investors about 100% in dividends. So the banking sector is making steady growth. Yes, can we do more with our lending options, with the percentage of our loans in terms of, what we pay on them? Yes. But in terms of stability, and it is very important, if the banks are fully functional, if they have that recapitalization base that you are sure that your money will not liquidate like it did with other banks, it attracts investors because investors know that, listen, if I'm coming in with $1, I can get an institution that can give me $5 more if I need more. So I think the CBN has done an amazing job. Yes, we can get better in terms of the fiscal policies, in terms of the laws to protect the interests of the banks.
Exactly.
I think we've done well. We've done well.
But we can do better. We can do better. Anyway, NRS raised tax revenue from 711 billion naira to 3.6 trillion in 2 years. Would you like to talk about this one?
See, I have my reservation about it. Yes, the government wants to make money. If you are raising our tax from 711 billion to 3.6 trillion, it means that it could mean two things. One, we're blocking all the loopholes where monies are being stolen. The people that were not being taxed are now being captured. Fine, it's good. Government would always drive revenue. This is one of the things that sustains the economy. But on the other side, if you have an economy that is this fragile, an economy that depends on small-scale businesses, an economy that has survived recession twice in the last 10 years, an economy that was dealt badly with by COVID, then you look at the growth in our revenue, it is easy for the government to say, we are generating more money. But these monies you are generating, at what cost? Are the people being overtaxed? Are the people paying, throat-cutting taxes? If you continue to, suppress your people by overtaxing them, then the monies you are making from them is going to be making life difficult for them. Because when you get people to pay taxes, see, I've always said it, I'm a proud taxpayer in this country. But the joy of paying tax is seeing what your taxes is being used to do. Not you paying tax and then you are buying your own transformer. Not you paying tax, you cannot afford quality education. Not you paying tax, you cannot afford access to public infrastructure. Not you paying tax, you are paying for your own security. You are paying for your health. You are paying for your children's school because they are going to private school. So what am I paying tax for? What am I benefiting from the government if I'm giving the government? So if you say the revenue had gone from 711 billion to 3.2 trillion, at what cost? That's the question we need to ask. Yeah, let's celebrate that we have more money now. But how are you getting those monies? Are Nigerians still paying multiple taxes? Are Nigerians actually paying or over being taxed? Because these days, if you go to malls and you buy something, check the slip they will give you. They will tell you that there's consumption tax somewhere, and you're asking yourself, how are we getting to this point? Yeah, we are making more money, but listen, you can't continue to bend the people's neck because you want to tax them.
Multiple taxation, that's what it is called. When the government is taxing you and yet they're saying, you go to buy things and they're taxing you.
They tax on your ATM, they tax on your money, they tax on transfer, they tax on petrol, they tax on everything.
Someone will pick up the phone and call you and say that you're owing the government X amount of money because you have not paid tax. It shouldn't even apply. First of all, the government is not doing what they need to do. Then, if you're taking our taxpayers' money, you need to be accountable to us and tell us what you're using this money for. You need to be transparent, because if you're not transparent, then you're not encouraging me to want to pay my tax, and you have absolutely no right to insist or even take it up legally for why anybody is not paying their taxes. If a person is fixing the roads or grading the roads. A community, you have to do
you contribute money to buy a transformer. So what am I paying tax for?
You buy your transformer to get.
I'm my own local government chairman.
And getting a transformer does not mean you're getting power supply.
No.
You also need to buy petrol or diesel for your generator. You do your solar and all of that. I think it's way too much. The government should first thinking of fixing all these things before they start, talking about taxing. Why do you want to tax if you're? Why is the government so interested in tax? Because it's going somewhere, really, not to the people who they're taxing. Anyway, ADC expels Nafiu, Bala, Abejide, and 5 others. Are you with me on that one? Are you with me on that
I'm
one?
just laughing.
Can you read the rider for
Mark
that one?
vows no surrender. That is the now
That's the rider for
removed,
that story.
yes, for that
I mean, it was a bit too small for me to read. Okay, and then federal government plans support for Gili market bombing victims. What? What? No, did I get it? Did you? Can you read that, please?
Yes, now the federal government is planning to provide support for the victims of the Gili market bombing. I thought we said it's a justifiable bombing. The Yobe State governor also released a statement yesterday that they actually authorized the bombing. The Borno State governor had come out to say that he's aware of the bomb because the market is being opened and being run illegally. The Minister of Defense also talked about the fact that the operations in the market is very short time, that people just come in, make trade, and then they disappear. I have the video, so I'm trying to understand. If we say that the bombing was targeted at the criminals and it achieved 100% precision, the Nigerian Army headquarters released a statement. The former chief of staff, Burata, had also
anybody who aids,
and I bet with the cuts in the web. So who are you preparing support for?
I don't understand what's going on.
You see,
and this is why sometimes I say that Nigeria is like actors on the stage. You never know which scene, which episode.
Which bombing victim are you providing support for? The people that knows that the market is being run illegally. The people that knows that criminals are exchanging weapons, exchanging kidnapped victims, exchanging and collecting ransom. Do you know what the Minister of Defense said?
Why are you surprised? Didn't they talk about safe corridor?
Yes.
This is part of.
Do you know what the Minister of Defense said? The Minister of Defense said that place is a place where they sell everything, that you can bring a bag of rice to Gili market and you will sell it for bandit at 150,000. That people will fill the tanks of their vehicles from Borno town or Yobe town and they will come to that Gili market and come and offload that petrol and sell it to the bandits. And so the people that were born in that market are the ones you are providing relief materials for. And the people in IDP camps are languishing in poverty, living like slaves in their own country.
I'm in total shock. Like, seriously.
When I saw the story this morning, I was like, wow. So what exactly, what was the bombing for in the first place then? If you are still going to provide support for the victims of the bomb, yes, there are casualties in there. There are civilians in there that probably are not criminals in quotes. But the law does not even give you an excuse of innocence. And that's the fact. If someone steals from, Yoruba used to say, Shulaja, Atento Gbale, Olela Mejeji. Someone climbs the roof of your house, steals something, and then you help the person to bring it down. Both of you are thieves. If someone is a criminal, if they are bandits in that enclave, and you are trading in that enclave, when you know they are bandits in that enclave, you are either a conspirator or a sympathizer. And if you get caught in that web, you would have to go with it. So who are you providing support for? On what basis?
Okay, do you know I'm actually disheartened. Honestly, I'm really, this has really saddened me because we were here sitting on this table
and praising these people for doing a precision job.
And all the intelligence that went into it, and how the Nigerian army had come to say that anybody who was caught, helping these people, would also be pulled into it and all of that. And then today you're telling us you're looking for relief. You're going to send relief to them.
Well,
so you actually. Is the federal government actually trying to say that these bandits need to get better so that they can return in full force? I don't understand. I don't quite understand it. And I think that an official from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, from the federal government, needs to release a statement to explain to journalists exactly how these two conflicting statements can come together to make meaning, to make sense to us, so that we don't sit down here as if we don't understand or as if we don't know our jobs anymore. We're saying one thing on the one hand and we're saying another thing on the other hand. I think that you need to get it together, and we actually demand that you explain to us what we don't understand.
So
I don't understand.
it's difficult.
I don't know if you understand.
Yesterday, the Plateau State government signed out a statement that some criminals are planning to attack medical facilities on the Plateau, that they want to attack hospitals. They need nurses and doctors to treat the victims of the airstrikes that are going on in that's the fight against the fight by the military. So they are feeling the heat. The bandits are getting hit, they are getting shot at. So they need to kidnap medical personnel that will be treating them in the bushes. So that letter was approved and circulated by the Plateau State government, official. So now look at what the Vanguard is reporting. The Vanguard says, that's the Minister of Defense, and the video is everywhere. He said, Jili airstrike, no innocent victims. That's the Minister of Defense saying this. So who are the people you want to go and provide relief for? The Yobe State governor released a statement saying that they authorized the airstrike. The Gombe State government, and Jili Market is a community between Yobe and Gombe and Borno. It's a community town, very, very big community. In fact, some years back, Jili community was 100% under the control of the criminals until the military swooped in and then they liberated that community and allowed the people to be coming back in there. So it's one of the hottest bed, if not the hottest bed in the entire Borno state, where criminals are trading. So if the Minister of Defense is saying that there are no innocent victims in that attack, and then the federal government is saying that they want to provide support for innocent victims, maybe this is becoming clearer by the day. But let's look at what the Vanguard is also reporting. Daily petrol import rises to 96.6%. That is 5.9 million liters per day, according to NMDPRA. Okay? Why Kwara is the best place to give birth and raise a child in Nigeria today? The Kwara State governor and the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum is saying that, well, Kwara is safe. The Minister of Defense, Jili airstrike, no innocent victims. I watched the interview yesterday live. I have the video where the Minister of Defense is saying that henceforth, if you are caught in a web of criminals, you'll be treated like one. It's as simple as that. If you serve as human shield, if you serve as conspirator, if you serve as supplier, if you serve as negotiator, if you serve as a random receiver, if you serve as sympathizer, and you are caught in that circle, you will go. So whoever the government wants to provide relief material to, they should continue to look for those people. Well, the banner headline, 2027, ADC, DS Court, and INEC holds convention. Well, democracy at risk. ADC won't bow to political pressure. David Mark is talking on that one. Convention is valid. INEC failed in its duty. Rauf Aregbesola. INEC being used to undermine democracy. Atiku Abubakar. Amechi Galadima blast federal government over pressure on opposition. Let no judge be used to destroy Nigeria. That is coming from the former governor of Sokoto State and a member of the National Assembly, Senator Aminu Tambuwa, warning the judiciary. Supreme Court shift leadership suit hearing to April 22nd as court orders ADC to halt national convention, maintains status quo. Gombe praised lower courts to adjourn case with Mark indefinitely. Convention ratifies NEC decision, dissolves National Working Committee, expels Gombe and Abejide. Well, Abejide is the only elected reps member or lawmaker on the platform of the ADC. I'm not talking about the ones that decamped into the party, but he was elected from Kogi State in 2023 from the ADC. So he says he's the national leader of the party. Well, the president was in Abuja yesterday to commission the state-of-the-art NRS, that's the Nigerian Revenue Service complex. And the FCT minister was there. In the pictures, there is the number 3 man in the country. That's the Senate president. The president was there. The deputy Senate president, the governor of Imo State, that's the chairman of the APC Progressive Governors Forum. Governor Hope Uzodinma, all of them were there in Abuja. Yes, and there were very, very funny jokes. I guess that was why Barrister referred to Senate President as a comedian. He was making some very funny jokes yesterday in an official setup.
Yeah.
And well, I think everyone that is close to him will know that Godswill Akpabio may not exactly be one of the most serious politicians we have in Nigeria. It doesn't fit into that category. But I think that's much we can take on Vanguard this morning. We have to go.
All right, we have to go. Thank you so much for watching the Breakfast Express. I am not particularly happy. I'm kind of confused which way Nigeria, which way to go. I love this land. I want to know which way to go. That's a popular song by the late Sonny Okosun, and at the time he didn't, I'm sure he never would have imagined that Nigeria would get to this situation. But you know, I'm just reiterating the words that he sang. Which way is Nigeria headed? On that note, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the Breakfast Express. My pleasure always to be here, you know, for those who matter, and I hope to be here again tomorrow. Okay.
I'm glad I'm part of those who matter, because I'm part of the people you're always here for every day. But I mean, talking about Sonny Okosun, if you check some of the songs that are 25, 30 years old now, the likes of Fela Nicola Pokuti, the likes of Orlando Owo, the likes of Sonny Okosun, you find out that some of the things they sang about 30 years ago, almost like those guys are prophets. Those are the realities that we are living now. Have a beautiful Wednesday for yourself. God willing, this show returns tomorrow, same time, same platform. You're welcome.
All right, my name is Tom Adirele, and I always say, take a look at the mirror. If you think there's something we need to change, please change it in a hurry so that the world can become a better place for everyone to live. God bless you and see you tomorrow.